All right, folks, I got some bullish XRP news for you. Now, let's be very clear. I don't want to clickbait you. I only have bullish news, not bullish price action. And we're going to talk about why we're not seeing bullish price action right now. It's getting a little shaky out there. We want to make sure you guys are covered here. Current events, financial markets, and the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. Let's get it started here, folks. The bad news, let's get it out of the way. And let's send out a quick prayer here as well, too, for the Middle East. Wow. Israel is considering military action against Iran in the coming days, per ABC News. Gold prices are now surging above $3,400 per ounce, less than 3% away from their new all-time high. So this is why I just exited my XRP long futures contracts on Coinbase yesterday. As soon as I saw the news that we were evacuating troops out of the Middle East, shifting some, pawns on the chessboard, literally, that's when I went to Coinbase right away, and I just took profit on my XRP longs, which was at about nearly 20% profit on that trade because I'd bought those XRP longs back at 211. And so I closed it out, and XRP futures was at like 228, maybe 230 still, I think. And so I was able to capture nearly 20% profit on that trade. But I just said, hey, I'm going to take my profit and I'm going to start praying. This situation's getting tense right now. And so that's where I'm at with dry powder on the sidelines. I have a buy order for XRP down at 203. If something does pop off, I'm expecting a flash crash followed by a V-shaped recovery similar to what we got in March of 2020. This will not be a prolonged bear market. This is not going to be the end of the world. But if we do get something here that could spark that, we are going to see a flash crash. I want you guys to be prepared for that and understand that that's why XRP is not pumping right now with all of this bullish news that I'm about to share with you next. Let's get it started here, guys. Big one here today. One chain global adoption. We now have USDC issued by Circle on the XRP ledger, joining ROUSD by Ripple, the Singapore dollar by Straits X, a euro dollar by Schumann Financial, and a Brasa Bank Brazilian real on the XRP ledger as well, with many more to come, right? We're just looking at 5. We're going to see dozens upon dozens of stablecoins and CBDCs issued on the XRP ledger, the best source of liquidity in the world. We've been waiting for this one, and it's so important, especially with our DeFi ecosystem about to bloom. Your ability to use ROUSD, USDC, or some of these other stablecoins within the DeFi protocols is absolutely critical. Because do you want to use XRP as collateral in DeFi? Maybe not in all cases, especially when XRP is still so volatile, right? But when you can use these stablecoins, that's where it's going to come in. And are these stablecoins going to replace XRP? Absolutely not. Every time you use or transact with one of these stablecoins on the XRP ledger, you are using XRP as a bridge currency in between. You are burning more XRP, and you are helping to bring more liquidity that otherwise wouldn't be on-chain onto the XRP ledger, and that's what we are here for. Neatsbucks, providing the context on this, he says there was a time when Coinbase wouldn't list XRP. Now we're trading XRP futures on Coinbase, aren't we? CoinDesk would not say nice things about XRP, and Circle would not acknowledge XRP. We've seen Coinbase list new XRP products, CoinDesk live stream XRP ledger Apex, and USDC come to the XRP ledger. This is a sea change. XRP is a true blue chip. There's no stopping this at this point. The first leader is price action, and XRP is destroying every other major cryptocurrency combined since the election. So you lead with price action. That's what gets people's attention. And that's why I said right at the beginning of the video, I got bullish news, not bullish price action. Let's be clear. I don't want to clickbait you. Okay? But this news here today, you better believe it's going to lead to some bullish price action right around the corner. Okay, right after we get through World War III or whatever the hell the powers that be are going to put us through, right? So we're looking right now, though, they can no longer ignore XRP. They're now issuing it. They're now covering our conferences, and we're seeing more and more products and ETFs on the way, right? We have futures ETFs live now, spot ETFs right around the corner. Now, The biggest and boldest prediction that we've probably ever gotten from Brad Garlinghouse dropped at XRP Ledger Apex. He was asked directly, in 5 years' time, how much of the Swift network will the XRP Ledger overtake? He gave a very specific answer, which was 14%. In 5 years' time, the XRP Ledger will be handling about 14% of the Swift volume. Okay? So XRP Bags did the math for us, and I want to give a shout out to XRP Bags. 14% of 5 trillion is 700 billion per day. So what we're looking at here is 5 trillion per day is what moves across the Swift network. Now, the Swift network is just messaging. The settlement happens on the back end in the clearinghouses, and that's the beauty of the XRP Ledger, is that we got messaging, ISO 222 compliant, and settlement in 3 to 5 seconds at no cost, all in one place. So what would the price of XRP have to be at to settle about 14% of the Swift network? Well, XRP Bags went to unbankedfreedom.com and pulled out a little tool calculator right here, and he shares $437 per XRP is what the price would have to be. 437. Now, I've ran through this math myself as well, and that math does kind of check out, right? I mean, assumptions and speculation, and it's not going to be a perfect guess, right? We're not going to get this spot on. But the point that I want to make and clarify for everybody, that for that liquidity to be settled, you're talking about that liquidity pool needs to have that much value in it. Now, there's not going to be the total circulating supply of XRP available for settling Swift's volume. So what happens is the 5 or 10 billion XRP that Ripple and maybe their partners put into the liquidity pool for settling Swift, that has to have a set value. But you combine that with everything else taking place in the XRP Ledger ecosystem, from the memes, the RWAs getting tokenized on the ledger, real estate, bonds, commercial paper, all of that's separate. All the liquidity pools on the AMM that are built out between XRP and meme coins, that's all separate, adding value to XRP. But I'd have to take a look at XRP Bagman's calculator and his assumptions, the inputs that he put into this equation, to see where he came up with that $430 price. And I'm looking at, he ran with 60 billion and he had an interest rate too. Okay, yeah, so 60 billion. See, that's the flaw in that math and that assumption, is that you would have a full 60 billion XRP available for the Swift network. That's not the case. You're going to only have 5 or 10 billion, maybe even less, available for the Swift network. And so that 5 or 10 billion XRP needs to have that liquidity value. So the price of XRP actually would be much higher than that $400 per XRP. I hope that that's clear for everybody to understand. You don't get to take the full supply of XRP and that's what we use to settle Swift with. No, it would be Ripple setting aside, here's 3 billion, here's 5 billion, here's 10 billion XRP that's available for the Swift network liquidity. And that XRP needs to be at a certain value, but you combine that with the rest of the XRP out here that's being used for all sorts of other things. And so you're talking about a much, much higher price of XRP. 3, 4, 5. Oh, goodness gracious. We better not talk about that. I was just going to give you bullish news, not bullish price predictions today. But I can tell you that conservatively, we're talking about a much higher price of XRP if we even just capture a portion of that Swift network volume. Now, who remembers this one? Ghost Web3X on Twitter reminding us of when Watcher Guru put out this post. And when this was what was this? This was like last year. The post said, just in, Swift nearing an agreement with Ripple to use XRP for cross-border payments with billions of XRP secured in escrow as liquidity reserves. Now, did they, jump the gun on that one? Was that just fake news? Did they get hacked? They got their excuses why, right? They explained that they were hacked and that was their excuse. But what they mention in here, with billions of XRP secured in an escrow as liquidity reserves, that's what I mean, is that if this deal were to get done, Ripple sets aside 5 billion for Swift network volume. And that that liquidity pool itself needs to be at a certain value to be able to transact and move that liquidity. You don't have the full 60 billion circulating supply. You don't have the full 100 billion max supply of XRP, not even close, which means that the number is a lot higher. Now, this is a clip here from Greg Kidd at XRP Las Vegas being interviewed by Eleanor Terrett. I'm not going to play the clip, but his prediction on what happens with Ripple in the next 10 years. Quote, I think Ripple may someday buy up some legacy companies and put them out of their misery. The guts of everything should be things like the XRP ledger. I think that Ripple should be able to get a banking license. Huge shout out for Digital Asset Investor clipping this one up and sharing this one. He says Greg Kidd clips are fire from XRP Las Vegas. And huge shout out to Brad Kimes once again for putting together the world-class biggest conference in the world for XRP. And the conversations that were had there, I'm still going back to watch some of them because I didn't get to see all of them. So Greg Kidd's one of them. I'm going to be going back to check that one out. But the bullish news is not over, folks. We're not done. Singapore-based Trident Digital plans to raise $500 million to establish the world's first large-scale corporate XRP reserve involving long-term XRP holding, staking, and deep engagement in the Ripple ecosystem to strengthen its decentralized finance strategy. So the first company that came out, was it Vivo? They came out and they were going to do over 100 million. It was like 121 million. And then another company came, I'm forgetting the name of that one, but they came out and said that they were going to do like 200 million or something like that. Well, Singapore-based Trident Digital, they had to one-up it, and now they're taking this to a $500 million corporate XRP reserve involving long-term XRP holding, staking, and deep engagement in the Ripple ecosystem to strengthen its DeFi strategy. So these guys are not only committing hundreds of millions of dollars for a corporate reserve, but they want to get in. Vivo Power just signed a deal at Apex with Hugo Filion from Flare to deploy $100 million of that XRP into the Flare network. Now you got Trident Digital right here showing up with 500 million. What portion of that are they going to be allocating towards DeFi? Yet to be seen. But guys, what is happening right now? All this bullish XRP news, and yet XRP can't move. We get the most bullish XRP news dropping while the world around us is on fire, literally. And of course, we're praying for peace and we don't want to see people get in trouble here. But goodness gracious, can we just get a little XRP pump based off this news? It's like the more good news comes out for XRP, the more the market maker, magician, manipulators push the price down. But it's only going to last for so long, because here's what happens next, folks. The case concludes and the spot ETFs go live. For those wondering, can they approve all of the ETFs live day one? And what happened with Bitcoin? Well, that's exactly what happened. They approved 11 ETFs on day one, and it saw 4 billion of inflows in one day. So Ashley Prosper, for those asking, yes, it is possible for the SEC to approve multiple XRP ETFs in one day. The SEC approved the creation and listing of 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs on January 10, 2024. The Bitcoin ETFs experienced over 4 billion in inflows in one day. This set the record for any ETF debut, but I think the XRP will beat it by a mile. And now we just talked about this in an update a few days ago. BlackRock's IBIT now has 70 billion assets under management. So that's 70 billion that's been parked just in that one Bitcoin ETF. Now think about this. JP Morgan predicted 4 to 8 billion of inflows into the XRP ETFs year one. Well, we saw 4 billion into the Bitcoin ETFs day one, not year one, day one. And so even if XRP just gets a fraction of that type of activity, half a billion, 2 billion, who's to say that we don't surpass and do 4 billion? I mean, we got companies right now that are saying they want to do $500 million corporate treasuries without the ETFs. So what happens when we get the ETFs, right? What's stopping us from seeing 3 to 5, 10 billion of inflows into the XRP ETFs? Maybe not day one, but pretty quick. And what does that do to XRP's price? Well, if it does come in that fast, 20, 30 bucks is where I see us heading overnight. Yeah. You want to see XRP go to 10, 20, 30 bucks this year? when these ETFs go live, depending on how fast these inflows come in. But if it's anything even close to the Bitcoin ETFs, 1, 2, 3, 4 billion inflows day one or week one, and 70 billion in just one Bitcoin spot ETF, if we just get a fraction of that parked, and there's going to be, dozens of XRP ETFs as well too, not only are we going to go to much higher prices, we are going to hold much higher prices for XRP. So despite all this bullish news that I have for you today, XRP price did come back down. Let's take a look at it here on the charts. XRP, this is the 1 hour chart, by the way. So yesterday we topped out at 233. Then the news started to come out. And then this is when I got out. I took profit on my XRP long yesterday when the news broke that we were evacuating troops. And now it seems like this red candle coming in right now on this hour relates to this news that Israel is considering military action against Iran in the coming day, right? That just dropped within the past hour. And so now we have XRP, which had bounced back up to 225, now coming back down. It was already at 222 this morning. And like I said, I'm going to let them do what they're going to do. I'm praying for peace, and goodness gracious, can we stop the wars? But that you understand the evil that we're up against. And so what can I do? Make sure that my family's taken care of. There's a reason why I've had a prepping channel in my Discord group for the past 4 years, because we take that serious. Before we go and we flip our meme coins, we make sure that our prepping and essentials are taken care of. We make sure that we got our blackout barter, real money. How you doing? With some real money. And then we make sure that we got cash flow coming in so we can park that dry powder on the sidelines to buy the dip. I got my order for XRP placed at 203. Are we going to go there? I don't know, but I just want to be ready to take advantage of any flash crash that we do have. So let's pray for peace. Stay locked in right now because it's going to be quick. It's going to be short-lived. Whatever does happen, it's not going to be a drawn out situation. It'll be a V-shaped recovery if it does happen, and it might not, right? I might have panic sold my XRP longs, and we're about to reverse back out of this and rip, and we won't really have any war pop off. But in the case that it does, we are positioned with dry powder. We are staying liquid, and we know what moves that we're going to be making when that time does come. On the other side of any World War III events, on the other side of this turbulence, we are going to see XRP at double digits 100%. Today's bullish news, not reflected on the price chart. Why? Because there's a war going on. So have some grace, have some patience, okay? It's coming. The inflows are coming. I'll let you guys speculate on how much of inflows we're going to see into the XRP ETFs day one. Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Are we going to see 1 billion? Are we going to see 4 billion like the Bitcoin ETFs? Or are we going to surpass it? Day one of the XRP ETFs, let me know your prediction down in the comments down below. I will be back live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern for our regular live show. So we'll see you guys over there. I'm about to hop on a one-on-one call with somebody in our community. And if you guys want to take advantage of that along with all of our community resources are available at zachrector.com. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you for smacking it on the way out. And we will see you guys tonight. God bless you all. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.